We are joined by Professor Dennis Coronacion, Chairman of the UST Department of Political Science. Hi, Prof. Good morning, and thanks for joining us again.
Well, good morning, Ma'am Angela and Sir Angelo. Thanks for having me here again.
Prof, this is it. 1 week before the midterm elections. This is probably the last survey from Pulse Asia. What is your reaction to the latest survey?
Well, I think it's the same result as we had in the previous months, particularly last this month, April, because there were surveys done by other survey firms for this month, and then last March and February. So I think they're almost the same. The results are almost the same, except that of course there are some names that are included here, which were not included in the last surveys. So from if we're going to base the election results on the survey, it seems or it's possible that there can be as many as 9 administration bets that can make it to the Magic 12, and then 2 from PDP Laban, and then I don't know. The remaining slot will either go to a celebrity, a showbiz celebrity, or I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between the candidates that because there are 14 candidates in the who can possibly make it to the Magic 12. Dalawang pwedeng mawala doon, And who knows kung sino yung makakuha ng last spot.
Right.
Prof, I want to talk about Senator Bato de la Rosa also and Senator Bongo, who are associated, of course, with the Duterte camp. Tumaas ang numbers nila continuously even after the arrest of former President Duterte. Pero parang this arrest did not rub off on the other candidates. Why do you think so?
Actually, sir, it did rub off, except that they failed to get the necessary numbers in order to make it to the Magic 12. Because there was an improvement in their positions. Say, for example, senatorial bet Jimmy Bondoc, Attorney Jimmy Bondoc, was very far from the Magic 12. Bago na aresto si dating Pangulong Duterte. But after the arrest, his ranking has improved significantly.
Okay, I wanna go to former Senator Bam Aquino and former Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Nakita po natin sa mga previous surveys, lagi silang magkatabi. But right now, sa latest survey po ng Pulse Asia, medyo umangat po at kumbaga, sinasabi nga natin, may konting pag-asa si Senator Bam Aquino na makapasok sa Magic 12 if possible. Pero medyo mas lumaglag pa po si Kiko Pangilinan. What do you think happened there?
Tama kayo dyan, nung previous survey, yung mga previous surveys, para magkadikit sila, and they were just a little outside the Magic 12.
They would always campaign together.
Yes. Because I think they used to belong to the same political party. And naman mga ideologies, hindi naman nagkakalayo. So they are both progressive minded lawmakers. So yun, I don't know how to explain former Senator Bam Aquino has based on the survey to the Magic 12, and then itong si former Senator Kiko Pangilinan has his position has moved far away from the 12. So it's possible. Siguro one possible reason is that when the conflict between the two political camps, of course, the administration and the Duterte camp, has intensified, both of them refused to join the discourse regarding conflict.
To take a stand. Ika nga.
Yeah. That can possibly explain kung bakit kumbaga man they're not in the Magic 12. Kumbaga man minsan nandyan sila, minsan wala. So that has made them such kind of position of not being involved in the discourse about the conflict has made them a little bit irrelevant.
Pero Prof, yung ano no, yung endorsement ni former Vice President Leni Robredo kay former Senator Manny Pacquiao and kay former DILG Chief Abalos, meron ba tong impact sa standing ni former Senator Bam at former Senator Kiko Pangilinan, given that they're all within striking distance pero alanganin?
Yun na nga I think napag-usapan natin siya the last time na yung endorsement na yun can be detrimental to the candidacies of to the campaigns of former Senator Kiko Pangilinan and former Senator Bam Aquino, who were both endorsed by former Vice President Leni Robredo. Ang naging impact sa kanila yan, parang bumaba pa yung kanilang ranking sa surveys dahil yung ilan sa mga supporters ni yung boto galing sa mga supporters ni former Vice President Leni Robredo ay maaaring napunta o mapunta doon kay Senator Manny Pacquiao at saka kay former Secretary Benhur Abalos.
Pero Prof, bakit yung 16 million na so-called pink wave na there's a movement that was happening at that time ng presidential elections, parang hindi na ma-master or hindi na consolidate yung 16 million na yun? O hindi na parang nag-fizzle out ng konti yung strength ng movement na yun in terms of how yung impact ng endorsements ni former VP Leni?
Opo, kasi tawag dito, mahirap pa i-test yung kanyang yung kanyang endorsement power. Hindi pa natin, in fact, di natin nakita yan na nagkaroon ng positive contribution all throughout the campaign ni former Senator Bam Aquino and former Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Tapos here we are, may dalawang panibago. So most likely ganun rin ang baka walang impact din. So tingin ko tama kayo nag-fizzle out kasi before there was a common cause.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon kasi wala na eh. In fact, kumbaga man, ang magkaaway na hindi na yung yung kampo ni for this election hindi na magkalaban yung mga Pinklawan at saka yung mga Duterte followers or supporters ng DDS. Ang magkalaban na iba na eh. It's between the DDS and the BBM supporters.
But Prof, do you think there's going to be a change naman doon sa top spot ng senatorial race? Because if you would compare this doon sa senatorial race the last time, number 1 lagi si Senator Tulfo, pero pagdating nung halalan talaga, ang lumabas sa number 1 ay si Senator Robin Padilla, and we all are witness to that. And ngayon naman po, nakita natin all throughout the surveys, laging si Erwin Tulfo naman yung number 1. Pero after some time, after few weeks, naging number 1 na si Senator Bongo. Do you think magkakaroon pa rin po ng doon, pagbabago pagdating mismo ng halalan?
Well, there are some things po now, some factors na hindi nako-consider ng mga surveys. Like political machinery, at saka yung last hurrah ng mga senatorial candidates. Things that they do on the eve of the elections or a few days before the elections. Hindi po yan na-capture ng survey na to, no? So, to answer your question, it's possible. Kaya nga lang, statistically speaking, very comfortable yung lead niya ni Senator Bongo over the others. In particular, kay Congressman Erwin Tulfo. Ang nakalagay dito, 62.2.
Yeah.
Voting for him, while for the second placer, si Erwin Tulfo, 42.4 lang. Kaya hindi sila statistically tied.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
This might say a lot about the number 1 position, the top position coming election.
Pero Prof, given a tail end, and we all know that machinery matters the most sa tail end ng isang campaign leading up to the voting, no? Sino ang magbe-benefit most sa machinery? Is it the top 8? So if you're within the 8, you're safe already. Ang medyong critical pa dyan is 9 going down?
Yes, ang magbe-benefit po dito ay yung mas may malaking political machinery, yung may well-oiled na political machinery. And we're referring to the administration coalition. the resources, they have the vast political network. So it's possible na yung scenario na ma-overtake pa ni Congressman Erwin Tulfo, okay siya yung mag-number one sa darating na election. We can entertain the possibility that.
Pero Prof, yung naman, how about Senator Amy Marcos? No, this is itong survey na to lumabas na after ng official endorsement ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa kanya, but somehow we can see medyo talagang siya nakalambitin pa rin doon sa number sa ilalim. So, what do you think happened here?
Well, it seems in gamble niya, parang it has given her a momentum, kaya nga lang fizzle out na anong huli. I think it also has something to do with the yung the feud between the two political camps. It's still intense, pero yung narrative, yung impact niya sa mga voters parang nag-iba na eh. Kumbaga napunta na sa ibang attention ng mga tao, sa ibang issues. So yung sanang momentum that Senator Amy Marcos gained after she was endorsed by the Vice President, kumbaga man nawala ng momentum, hindi na sustained. That's why she is in the 14th to 18th rank. Ang sabi dito sa sa survey. So nakulangan sa push. I don't know kung anong pwede pa niyang gawin kasi pwede pa naman medyo malapit pa naman siya sa Magic 12. Baka magawa pa niya ng paraan.
Yun, tsaka Prof, yung isang gusto ko rin itanong sa'yo about yung kay Willie Revillame, yung si TV host Willie Revillame. Some surveys would have him in the middle of the pack, some surveys wala siya, may some surveys medyo nakakaangat siya sa 5 or 6. Bakit nag-iiba-iba drastically ang positioning niya every survey period? Well,
ang unang-una pong explanation possible explanation is that iba-ibang weeks kinokonduct yung mga surveys. And ang surveys naman po can only is considered as a snapshot of yung perception of the people about the political reality. So probably there are times na very popular siya, kumbaga man yung perception sa kanya ng mga tao very positive, but there are also times na hindi. And also his position is also affected by some candidates who are at the bottom part of the surveys and that they're moving up. Iba, of course, may effect yan sa kanya, may domino effect, bumababa yung kanyang rank.
Pero may nakikita ka bang, Prof, na yung mga, what leans towards Willie more? Yung mga DDS o yung mga BBM followers? Kasi may mga, tinatawag nila yung fence candidates, yung mga fence sitters Saan mas katanggap-tanggap si Willie Revillame?
Well, it's hard to say kasi hindi mahirap po sabihin demography ng ng mga followers on both sides. We cannot say na halimbawa if we're going to judge their yung level of discernment, baka sabihin natin dahil DDS ay maintindihan yung imahe at saka yung messaging ni Willie Revillame. So it's hard to say, pero I think since he has not announced his support to any of this opposing side, baka makakuha siya ng boto sa parehong yung political camps.
Ang isa ko pa po nakikita dito, Prof, dun sa survey na talagang very consistent without any fanfare, hindi ko nga nakikita kung nangangampanya, ay si Senator Lito Lapid. Diba? Ever since, andyan lang siya. Do you think, aside from name recall, ano pa po yung factors na nakikita po natin na kaya po siya nandiyan ngayon sa Magic 12?
Yung po kanyang yung kanyang movie exposure, yung sa telenovela niya. He has already been endorsed by yung mga kasamahan niya doon sa ginaganapan niya na telenovela. So araw-araw siyang nakikita doon. Plus endorso pa siya nung bida doon sa na yun. So
nasa admin pa siya.
Nasa admin pa siya. And yung kanyang image pa na very humble and very approachable I think all these things work for, to his advantage.
Yeah, Prof, would you say na this, this particular election no, is parang ang nangyayari, it's more on based na kung DDS ka ba or BBM ka, more than issues? Kasi if you're going to say na issue-based itong election, yung question is bakit nandyan si mataas, si Senator Bongo at si Senator Bato when they are associated with having pro-China policies or part of the pro-China movement. When in fact, if you look at the surveys, yung mga sa karamihan sa Pilipino, almost 80-90% would veer towards yung anti-China.
Actually, that's a good observation po, no? Yung in the fact that we can see na in the surveys, itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa and Senator Bongo are in the top siguro top 6 positions. Shows na this election is very much determined and influenced by the conflict between the administration and the Duterte family and their allies. So simula po nung nakita natin yan, simula nung siguro mga bandang February or March, even before the few months for the arrest, parang nakapag-shift na ng momentum, ng trend, from downward trend being experienced by the Duterte camp, biglang na-reverse yun, based on the survey results. February, March, and then leading up to the arrest of the former president, doon na gumanda yung survey numbers nila. To consolidate, and they were able to come up with narratives na talaga naman nag-gain ng traction. Oo.
Okay.
So, yun, very much influenced by the and sad to say, yung mga totoong issues na dapat ina-address ng gobyerno natin at ng mga kandidato ay nalalagay sa sideline, hindi napapansin.
What about po si Senator Francis Tolentino? Kung pagbabasihan po natin yung mga surveys from the very first start of this campaign period, talagang hindi po siya nakakasali sa Magic 12. So, ano pong mangyayari doon? Ngayon po, medyo parang may pihit po siya. Gumagawa po siya ng mga Senate hearing tungkol sa yung kanya pong sa China, no? Tingin niyo po ba makakahabol pa po siya?
Medyo mahirap po yung sitwasyon niya ni Senator Tolentino kasi nanalo siya noong 2022. He was with a different political group, political party. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was with PDP Laban.
Yes.
Your president's political party. And nadala siya yung political base ng PDP Laban at saka ng Duterte family. And I think that explains why he won in the 2022 elections. Now that he had shifted his political alliance, he had moved to another political party or political group, nawala po yung kanyang yung support that made him win during the 2022 election. And I think based on the surveys, parang he has not found a replacement.
Same goes with Prof. Former DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos. Some would say na isa siya sa mga casualty ng admin slate na kumbaga, diba, bumababa kasi yung trust rating ng admin slate ng admin mismo, ng PBBM admin. Tapos in essence, sa survey lumalabas, hindi naaangat ng admin yung kandidato na to, si Senator Francis Tolentino at saka si Benhur Abalos.
Opo, kasi if they're going to rely on the endorsement of their leader, who happens to be the president, medyo sumadsad rin yung survey numbers ng ating presidente. And in a presidential form of government, the president's popularity matters a lot. Oo. Not just in policy making, at saka program implementation, but also in elections. So, hindi naman natin masabing unpopular si President Bongbong Marcos. It's just that he's not also very popular. Parang popularity niya mag-grab off sa mga kandidato niya, mga senatorial bets niya, na who are not doing well in the surveys.
Wala siyang magic like in era magic of old, yung mga nung una, di ba, Prof? Finally, Prof, I'd like to ask you, every election there is always a dark horse or a big surprise na nangyayari. Well, if I were to ask you, what do you think will be the big surprise this election, or sino ang dark horse?
Well, anyone outside the Magic 12 can be a dark horse po, no? Pero mas malaki yung potential na manalo yung mga malapit lang sa Magic 12. Mga hindi ko pinag-uusapan, pero malay nyo, baka, baka gulatin tayo. Ang nakikita ko dito, halimbawa si Congressman Marcoleta.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Kasi I think in the past few surveys na nakikita ko yung yung kanyang pangalan. And sabi ko, bakit kaya? So sabi ko, probably because he has the support of the Iglesia ni Cristo and also the support of the Duterte followers. So hindi siya nalalayo sa Magic 12. So yun ang una ko naiisip eh. And then, of course, I'm also wishing for sana the inclusion of Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Ideally, dalawa sana sila ni former Senator Bam Aquino, pero kung di kaya, at least one of them.
Alright. So, actually, pwede nga pa yan makita natin iba pang minor changes kasi halos lahat ng mga religious sectors, hindi pa sila officially endorse ng mga candidates. So we will see about that. Alam ko, initial lang ang Jesus is Lord eh. Naglabas lang sila ng top 5 nila na in-endorse nila. But with that po, maraming salamat po sa inyong insights, Professor Dennis Coronacion, ang Chairman of the UST Department of Political Science. Thank you so much.